Hello and welcome to some Premier League 36 match day, 3 or 4 games left, depending on the team, maybe 5. And we have Tom Rennie to analyze with us the Premier League. Tom, are you in Germany? Someone is asking.
No, I'm not in Germany. I haven't transported my entire house to Germany. I remain in East London, closer to the London Stadium than Frankfurt, sadly. Couldn't get a ticket. They were like gold dust, so I couldn't get one. Plus, we're going to lose, aren't we? So what's the point?
Well, maybe not. You know that there is a game now tonight in Germany. I guess there are some t-shirts in the back that are gonna go out. Good luck, Tom, for tonight's game. Let's
We're going to do what Real Madrid did. We're going to do what Real Madrid did. We're going to follow your example. It looks over, and just when you think you're out, pull you back in.
But remember, Frankfurt have to take the lead. This is the most important thing. Then
yes, that's it. It's got to happen.
Let's analyze the games of this weekend in the Premier League. And don't forget, press the like and subscribe. And now let's go on with the show. A lot of excitement about this Real Madrid, Man City, Frankfurt, West Ham. So let's keep the excitement with the first game, Tom. Brentford, Southampton. Absolutely nothing to play for. So this is a pointless game, no matter how you see it. But perhaps we can make some money, I guess, especially if we back Brentford. The odds are not that bad. And apart from losing, or despite losing, in Old Trafford, 3-0 to Man United, they are good, especially strong at home with Southampton on holidays. Why not, no?
Yeah, I was really surprised by Monday, actually. I've seen Brentford a couple of times recently against Tottenham and against West Ham and against Chelsea, and I thought, well, they're really good here. You know, this is why predicting scores and results in football matches is very, very difficult, which is why you should never bet on a Real Madrid game, not even in the 87th minute. Don't do it. But also, you know, it's very difficult to predict teams like these because one week you think Brentford are finished, and then they go on a 3-match winning run. They're beating teams in the top 6, and then after that, they're getting thrashed by the worst Man United team in 30 years by 3-0. Southampton, you think the season's over, and they pick up a great win somewhere, and they lose against Crystal Palace inexplicably last week in a game that was a banker draw until Wilfred Zaha's last kick of the game winner ruined my bet last week, which made me absolutely furious. You know, we're all coming in on Saturday until that happens, so that made me very angry. Thanks, Wilf. But look, on this game, as you say, Brentford have been very good at home this season, despite the anomaly of Monday. They've still got a reasonably fit squad. They've still got Ivan Toney. They've still got Brian and Bummo. They've still got Christian Eriksen, who apart from Monday has been very, very good. And in fact, the game was pretty even until the second goal for Manchester United as well. I think 3-0 flattered Man United. But, you know, they've suffered. So God bless them. Let them have it. For Southampton, they're a team in a continual state of flux. One week, Armando Broja starting looks amazing. Next week, he doesn't get a game at all. Next week, he's injured. Of course, they've lost Livramento to injury for a long period of time. But they've got a full squad of 6 out of 10 players. No one spectacular, but some good players. If you're looking at recent form, you look at Southampton drawing as many games as possible until the end of the season. 13 draws now. Should have been 14 last week. I think they'll probably draw 2 of their final 3. If you look at Brentford, I think they have done a great job putting a show on for their fans at home this season. And so I would be looking here. Even Brentford at 2.3 is quite nice. As ever, that'll go up as we get towards kickoff on Saturday. Take Brentford to win. And that's it. Brentford will win.
Okay, that's it. Next game then, Burnley, Aston Villa. And here I'm also super surprised to see the odds. Aston Villa, they are favorites, and Burnley, they are winning all the games now. 3 consecutive victories out of the relegation zone. The miracle is happening in Turf Moor. So you tell me why they are not favorites to win this game.
Because they're still Burnley. And even though they've gone on this nice little run, you're not really going to get Burnley below 2.5, 2.8 for the rest of this season because the run they've gone on, no one saw it coming. Least of all me, least of all Sean Dyche, least of all Mike Jackson, right? So no one really saw it coming. But at 3.2, 3.3, 3.5 by the weekend, take a Burnley win here. Take a Burnley win and a double chance with a draw. You're going to get very, very good odds and a double chance here, judging by the odds that we've got in front of us now. Because, look, Burnley, despite not having Ben Mee, despite not having a manager, they've just found a way to win. And when it comes down to this stage of the season, it's will to stay in the Premier League, which is probably more important than quality. You've seen that with Everton recently with their performances. They've forgotten about systems and patterns of play. They're just out fighting the opponents and getting points. And that's what Burnley did last week. Watford couldn't care less about the game last week going into the final 15 minutes. And Burnley won that game on sheer strength of will. Right now, I'd say Burnley are only a win away from Premier League safety, which is incredible. Statistically, if they won one more game, got to 37 points, that would be safe any year in the last 10 years of Premier League football. So why not target this Aston Villa team? Yes, they beat Norwich last week, but it was a real laboured victory from Steven Gerrard's side. An important one for him because they'd gone on a little run of 1 point in 4, so had to do something. But right now, Aston Villa look like a team that are desperate to wrap this season up. I think maybe 2 more points this season to get them to 42, 43 is about all I'd expect from them. You know, what's Danny Ings' future, Ollie Watkins' future, Douglas Luiz's future, Coutinho's future? A lot of people are going to be leaving in the summer, a lot of change. So in this game, Burnley need it, Villa don't. Burnley win, take a double chance. If Burnley do win, it'll be low scoring, and I mean 1-0. So look at the under on this one too.
Andras and Armi Hossein both are going for Burnley to win or double chance. For instance, of course, very good odds if we are trusting the home team. Next game, Chelsea, Wolves, and this is tough. This is tough because Chelsea, they are in really poor form. I guess everything that is happening around the club, no, the purchase, the situation with many players leaving is finally affecting them, and they are going to play the Champions League, so they have basically nothing to play for. And Wolves, they have still options to play in Europe, but they are losing every single chance they have to get into the battle.
Well, considering West Ham's form and Manchester United's form, a couple of weeks ago, Wolves were in the mix for the Europa League. Now, they're battling with West Ham for the Conference League. And I'm not even sure they're going to get that with the way they're playing at the moment. The performance against Brighton last week was awful. It was absolutely awful. Like, Brighton scored 3. They also missed a penalty. They also missed a raft of sitters in that game. And Wolves just look like a team who don't have the motivation. They don't have it right now, and it's very hard to get it. And especially when you consider when they did go on a run of points this season, they didn't do it playing well. They're not a good football team. They're a pretty disgusting football team to watch in many ways. You know, nick a goal, defend it for your life. If they concede, they're basically finished in a game. The lowest scorers in the league, on 33. Just turgid to watch this season. So we don't want to send them to Europe. And I'm not sure they want to be sent. So embarrassed are they? More people might have to watch them. So I see nothing from Wolves in this game. They don't have the motivation they had in December, January, February to nick points and see what can happen. For Chelsea, look, they were bad last week. They were poor. It was a really poor performance against Everton. It was poor against Man United. It was poor when they scraped past West Ham by 1-0. It took 10 men and a last-minute shot to score against a much-changed West Ham. So I think Chelsea have got some questions to answer. I think Thomas Tuchel has got some problems to solve. But still, in all those games, they've created chances. And I think that they will tuck away a few chances in this game. I would go Chelsea heavily, actually. I think someone is due a bruising from Chelsea. And with a week off, with a lot of criticism, with careers at Chelsea on the line, I'd throw the manager in that as well. I think they will beat Wolverhampton Wanderers handsomely. I see Chelsea winning the first half. I see Chelsea winning the second half. I see Chelsea scoring 3 goals or more in this game. So maybe look at a -2 handicap for Chelsea in this match. And I certainly don't see Wolverhampton Wanderers scoring, even despite the injury issues that Chelsea have had defensively recently. I still think big Chelsea win here.
All right. Chelsea can score. Wolves can score. It's going to be an under. Amir is telling us. And Wolves needs players, of course. Mom Spaghetti is saying, perhaps Tuchel is not keeping the job?
It's an interesting question. I'm not sure Chelsea is the most attractive job for Tuchel-like managers this summer. I think that he would want to stay because of the reputational damage some of this season has done to him. And the club will want to keep him because we don't even know who the owners are. And could they get better? If they're now going to become a sort of Everton-level club, Chelsea, which could happen, but Everton have got a billionaire owner. But And it could happen depending on what consortium eventually comes in. And we think we know now, but it's not confirmed because Abramovich wants more money. There was no way of knowing. Then they could. So I think at the moment, it's a marriage of convenience. They've both got to make it work for next year.
All right, next game, Brighton, Man United, talking about next year because I'm sure all the... no, we have Crystal Palace, sorry. Crystal Palace, Watford.
You sure?
Yeah, Crystal Palace, Watford. Let's stay in
the Roy Hodgson derby. You forgot the Roy Hodgson derby?
In Selhurst Park. You mentioned before how we lost that bet with Crystal Palace. Beating Southampton in the very last minute was the first victory after many, many weeks. Perhaps this is the second victory because, of course, they are playing against Watford and everyone is beating Watford, Tom.
Yeah. The weird thing is about Watford is at home, they're truly atrocious. And away, they're just bad. You know, they've had some good moments away from home in recent weeks, some wins where we thought, oh, actually, they can do something. Aston Villa springs to mind. But they're down now, by the way. You know, mathematically, they aren't down because Leeds could lose all their games. Watford could win all their games. Same with Burnley. And they could get above Leeds on goal difference. The Burnley swing is far, far too much. But they're down at this point because Leeds will get at least one more point. So where's the motivation? They know Hodgson is leaving. It didn't work anyway. The three-manager thing, again, didn't work for Watford. They've come up and embarrassed themselves once again. I think they'll finally lose Ismail Assar for a big loss on what they bought him for, mind. They'll lose Emmanuel Dennis, a few other players. But in general, it's an unattractive squad with no great ambition or structure. And they're run very poorly, Watford. Run very poorly by the Pozzo family. So their relegation was inevitable. For Crystal Palace, they're a club that have done a good job, actually, under Patrick Vieira. No particular points improvement from the Roy Hodgson era, but some football quality improvements. And it was a great goal from Zaha last week. Great to see Eze back and scoring as well. Elise had a good run December, January. Fallen off it a little bit, but still very talented. Conor Gallagher will be up there in conversations for me for player of the season when we have those conversations in a couple of weeks or so. Defensively sound, the goalkeeper's all right. I like Crystal Palace, and I think at 1.7, that's not too bad for a Crystal Palace win. I wouldn't discount the draw at above 4-1, mainly because there's going to be a few weird draws coming up. Double chance at Palace draw, but I look at Palace to win, potentially level at halftime, Palace win late on, and Wilfried Zaha will be on the score sheet.
Mom's Spaghetti is saying that Crystal Palace ruined his ACCA. I think that goal ruined a lot of our bets. Next game now, yes, let's go to the south. Brighton, Man United. Brighton ending very well the season. Actually, only one defeat in the last 6 games, beating Wolves. Man United, difficult to trust after beating Brentford. Probably they will go to the Europa League next season. Still very disappointing. Tom, the odds this time for Man United are quite good, actually.
Yeah, I'm really surprised by this, actually. I think that people have started to wake up. They've started to wake up to the fact that Man United are not a sure bet. And usually when that happens, they start winning again. That's what happened on Monday when it looked too tasty for them to not win the game. Look, briefly on Brighton, first 3 months of the season was fantastic. Middle 4 months of the season, diabolical. Last 2 months of the season, fantastic again. Don't ask me to explain it. I simply can't. If they scored the goals that their football deserved, they'd be on 50 or 60 goals competing with Man United for the Europa League. They're on 34 goals. A striker at that club, Erling Haaland, going to Brighton, and they might well be a Champions League qualifier. That's how good they are as a football team. Competent, confident, rarely give the ball away. They're a good team, but they don't finish off their chances, and it's cost them so many, many times. No great injuries to report on the Brighton front at the moment, which is good news for them. Should have Trossard available. Should have some of the other injured players, apart from Jakob Moder, available. They've missed recently. So I think they're in good shape to get a good result here against Manchester United. The trouble is, Man United are the worst team in the country to bet on, because as soon as you think you've got it right, you get it wrong. I'd look draw here. I would look draw because I don't see how this Man United team are getting any points. You know, when teams are doing badly, they draw games they should win, and they lose games they should draw. When teams are doing well, they win games they should draw, and they draw games they should lose. And Manchester United repeatedly play badly and get something from the game, mainly because they got that bloke. You know that bloke? Ronaldo, that's it. They just get it to Ronaldo and he will score for them. So I would look draw here. Draw on both teams score, and Ronaldo is the Manchester United scorer of at least one of those goals, because frankly, who else is it going to be?
Andras is telling us that the United were very good against Brentford, especially Juan Mata. Still there, young Juan Mata. Still there. Kishore is going for corners in this game. Ravnik going to Austria, Ten Hag going to Man United. Perhaps, hopefully, we see a better Man United the next season. Next game, this is a good one. Liverpool. Tottenham, is Conte gonna be able to win Liverpool title hopes? Tottenham beat Man City, for instance, away. Liverpool perhaps a bit tired or not after that game against Villarreal. They only played one half, so perhaps they are not even tired after that game. How do you see this one? It's gonna be tough, no, for Liverpool, one of the toughest until the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the toughest from what is left for Liverpool, because Tottenham have been, bar a couple of slips recently, which may well cost them Champions League football against Brentford and Brighton, really, really good. Great against Newcastle, great against West Ham, great against Aston Villa, great against Leicester a couple of days ago. I mean, the teams they've been really good against, though, have often had injury issues, form issues. When they've come up against someone good in form this season, Tottenham have really landed a punch. 11 losses this season tells you that. When someone has been playing well, Tottenham have not beaten them. When someone's been playing poorly, Tottenham have been able to take advantage because they've got Heung-min Son, Harry Kane, Dejan Kulusevski, Lucas Moura, Steven Bergwijn from the bench, players who can score goals, proven to score goals. 59 goals in the Premier League this season is more than Manchester United, it's more than Arsenal, and yet they're behind Arsenal right now and scrapping with Man U for that Europa League fifth. So I think Tottenham can. I think defensively they look quite good as well. Dyer, Romero, Davis looks good. Lloris in good form. The wing-backs are an issue. I don't think anyone there is Antonio Conte quality, which has held Tottenham back massively. Even Doherty's looked good at times when fit this season, but Emerson Royal, not up to it. Reguilon, not up to it, really. Sessegnon, not up to it. Doherty done okay, but I think he would have been replaced. So there's issues there with Tottenham. They can land a glove. But for Liverpool, as you say, only played 45 minutes against Villarreal, so it should be fresh for this one. But they've got great rotation. They play Konate in the Champions League. They play Matip in the Premier League. I think they'll play Alexander-Arnold and Robertson. It won't be a Joe Gomez, Tsimikas sort of game. You can see Jordan Henderson coming in from the start. You can see maybe James Milner coming in, and people will give James Milner criticism because he's 36, but he was the best player on the pitch against Newcastle last week before he went off, and he's the kind of guy you'd love to have in a game like this. So I think Liverpool will win. I wouldn't be brave enough to go for Tottenham, even at 7-1. It's fifth versus second, so it shouldn't be 7-1. And it's the kind of odds that usually drag me in a little bit. I mean, it's certainly worth a couple of quid of your money in case it happens, because you'll win elsewhere. You'll get your money back on low bets on this one if you're going to do that sort of thing. But I would suggest that it's going to be low scoring. I would suggest it's going to be tight. I would suggest it's going to be goalless at half time. And I would go for the under 1.5, under 2.5. I'd be looking at no more than 2-0 to Liverpool. 1-0 to Liverpool is what I really fancy, but don't go exact scores. Look for Liverpool win without conceding. Liverpool win, scoring the winner in the second half.
For under, we have very good odds. Under 2.5 goals pays 2.58 right now, so it's very good. We have a lot of comments about this game, many different opinions, but everyone is going for Liverpool. Actually, Liverpool and both teams to score. For Pool, both teams to score over 2.5 goals. For Bonjobu, corners, well, a lot of stuff, over 1.5 goals in the first half. So I guess people expect goals. When you see Liverpool on the pitch, you expect goals. Tom does not expect goals, and the odds are high if you don't expect goals. So go for it. Also, let's move on, Tom. This is very tempting as well. Arsenal Leeds, because when Arsenal, they are in a good run and they are playing a team that is struggling, they lose. And we have Arsenal right now, fourth in the standings. We have the North London Derby the following week, and we have Leeds that they need the points because despite the good run with Jesse March, 5 undefeated games, apart from the defeat against Man City, of course, they are still in the battle. Is worth it to put a couple of euros on Leeds? 5?
Yes, yeah, I think it is. I think it is because, as you say, with Arsenal, they didn't play well last week to beat West Ham. It was a bit of a turgid game, and West Ham not having enough centre halves to defend from corners is why Arsenal won it. They hit West Ham on the break when the Hammers tried to equalise in the game for the second time, and maybe could have got a third. But in general, Arsenal look a little bit gassed actually in the last couple of times that I've seen them. Yes, good against Chelsea. Yes, they're good against Man United, but previous to that, there were some pretty poor performances from Arsenal. And they lift themselves for big games because that's normally what clubs like Arsenal sort of do. And against teams that they expected to beat, that they tend to struggle against and have historically and have this season too. I think that defensively, they miss Ben White. I think he should be back for this weekend. That was an issue last week. They haven't quite got the back line right, but Tomiyasu coming back in is good news. They still miss Tierney on the other side. They've missed Thomas Partey in midfield as well, though. El Neni was quite good last week, to be fair, alongside Granit Xhaka, and Ketty has done well to replace Lacazette. So there's good news and bad news about Arsenal. Not enough to make them 1.5 favourites. Like, not enough at all to make them 1.5 favourites. And Leeds, it was bad last week against Man City. I know it's Man City, but they were bad against them as well. So you can still lose to Man City and play well, as Real Madrid showed us for 89 minutes. And then you can try and then, I know you'd enjoy that, and then try, I'm just playing for the gallery now, and you can play and you can still get something from the game or have some pride from the game or learn things from the game. Didn't get that from Leeds last week, and losing Stuart Dallas to injury is a massive blow. To go with Liam Cooper, to go with Patrick Bamford, to go with Tyler Roberts, to go with Adam Forshaw, players who all, I think, would have had something to do in this game. If not starting, they would have been involved from the bench or at least in the matchday squad. So, look, Leeds have got to do something. They've got tough fixtures, and this, of the tough games, is the easiest to win. I can see Leeds scoring in this game. I can definitely see Leeds scoring. They have the ability to score when they swarm forward. I think they will believe under Jesse Marsh they can win this game. So I'd be looking here, certainly at the draw market at 5-1. Very, very nice. Yes. The draw on both teams score. Very, very nice. The draw on both teams score in both halves. Very, very nice. I see this being a bit of a goal fest, actually. So I'd be looking for over 2.5 goals. Feel free to pick a winner when you've gone over 2.5 goals, but I'd be going over and draw.
There is some trust also on Leeds, for instance, for Ankur or for Amir Hossein, and Santa also doesn't want Leeds to go down. I think no one wants Leeds to go down after so many seasons, struggling to get promoted. Now they have to stay, and perhaps the one going down is Everton. Let's see. Everton, they are traveling to Leicester. Lucky for them, good timing to go and play there, because as we know, Leicester, they are playing the semi-finals of the conference. They don't care about the Premier League. Yeah. So perhaps good time, no, for Everton to get a victory. They have an easy schedule, let's say, Tom, until the end of the season.
Yeah.
Just to be optimistic, no, if you are a Toffee.
I mean, the trouble is with easy is that they've won 9 games all season, lost 19. So there are no easy games for Everton. And the wins they have got in the last 5 games were hard-fought victories against teams at home. Good teams, but they were at Goodison Park. Away from home, Everton have been the worst team in the country. They're the worst team in the Premier League this season. They are worse away from home across the entire season than Norwich City. I mean, that's incredible, isn't it? They're worse away. Just 1 win, 12 defeats, 3 draws, 35 goals conceded. They're just terrible away from home. So, they're going to stay up by winning home games. For whatever reason, this team can't do it away from home. Calvert-Lewin's been bombed out. We don't know about Richarlison. He picked up a knock last week, might be missing for this game. Yerry Mina played a game, so I'm assuming 3 weeks out now. That's how it works for Yerry Mina. And the midfield has no legs in it. It's got no legs. And Leicester, you're absolutely right about the Conference League and how much effort they would have put in the game on Thursday following the 1-1 draw from the first leg. But the good news for Leicester is that they can rotate now. All season they haven't been able to rotate because of the injuries. I'd expect another 7 or 8 rotations from Leicester for this game. If they don't play Daka, they can play Iheanacho. They don't play Eva, they can play Vardy. Don't play Maddison, they can play Tielemans, or they can play Barnes. They can rotate positional. So I just don't want to back Everton to win away from home with the record I just told you about. Even at 3-1, which seems real short for a team that have won 1 game away all season. That's ludicrously short. They should never be under 7-1 to win away from home. So that's not a nice bet. It's not worth going for. I'd be looking here for Leicester to win the first half and Everton to win the second half. Why? Because Leicester are a better team, but Everton need it more. Draw market, 4-1. That'll be by Sunday's game. Very, very tasty. Draw, both teams score, Leicester score first.
All right. Over, in case you like it, over 2.5 goals. Odds are 203. Actually, it's very even. Over or under, pretty much the same. Both teams to score, for instance. Yeah, you mentioned that, yeah, Kishore. So you have your answer. And the next game, Norwich, West Ham. We have our Norwich bet. Always trust the other team, not Norwich. Even, Tom, if West Ham is, of course, focused on European competition, even if they are not getting the points in the Premier League, should we trust West Ham to win this one?
Yes, you should. Look, West Ham have struggled over the last 6-7 games. Obviously, they have, because they won the quarterfinal and got to the semi-final. And the semi-final first leg against Frankfurt was a huge night for West Ham, which, in the end, I think overawed everybody. It's led to some poor results. It's led to injuries. And last week against Arsenal, they tried to get a draw. Would have got it if Dawson was available, but he was suspended, so they couldn't defend a corner. The week before that, there was no Zuma, no Diop, so... The injuries have racked up. The lack of rotation offensively has stopped them scoring as many goals. And it's all come together for West Ham looking short at the vital time of the season. The big clubs, if you like, the clubs that win trophies, they build their entire season to peak in May. You see that now with Real Madrid. You see it now with Manchester City to a degree. You see it with Liverpool, absolutely. And with West Ham, with Eintracht Frankfurt, with Leicester City, with Villarreal, the peak of the season is getting there. They haven't planned for all their players to be at their physical peak now. They're going to keep pushing them as far as they possibly can. And you've seen a lot of West Ham players fall way off their performance levels. Thomas Souček, the most obvious example, but Said Benrahma and Manuel Lanzini and Mikel Antonio, nowhere near the players they were from August through December when West Ham were fantastic and worth betting on every single week. But this is Norwich, right? And I think even West Ham, having played on Thursday, hugely emotionally charged game against Frankfurt. As we record, we don't know what's happened, but we know the team that would have been played. West Ham will play their strongest 11, even if they played 120 minutes on the Thursday. Through or not, they will play their strongest possible 11. And even at 60%, I think they're too good for Norwich. The only reason I would even suggest Norwich is if West Ham have lost dramatically on Thursday and everyone is so deflated and fed up from it that they go on to beat West Ham just because West Ham are just not in the mindset to play a game 3 days later. They have struggled after European football. But look, Norwich are bad. West Ham are good. And on that basis, I would go for West Ham to win. And I look for West Ham to win, frankly, comfortably. I'd go over 2.5, West Ham win. Big win. I think they're going to want a big win. Whatever's happened on Thursday, they're going to want a big win. And it's worth noting as well, the last time Mikel Antonio played against Norwich at Carrow Road, he scored 4. So I'd be looking for Mikel Antonio to score and West Ham win.
Would West Ham care to play the conference? Do they want to?
Oh, yeah, absolutely they would. Yeah, I think there is no reason for anyone to disparage the conference because it means there's another trophy to win. We get another final. And if there's one thing I hate about football, it's the same 5 or 6 teams winning all the trophies, then deciding which trophy they like best. That's not what football is supposed to be. That's not what competitive sport is supposed to be. And if we have to open up another avenue because the game is so rigged in favor of Real Madrid and Manchester City, then so be it. I'm more than happy to be in the Conference League. I'll be in whatever's beneath the Conference League if I have to.
Well, we have great semi-finals in the conference tonight. Andras is saying that this is a danger game for West Ham. Let's see also how develops the game for West Ham in the Europa League. And the last game you mentioned, Man City against Newcastle. Let's see how is the reaction of Man City after that defeat against Real Madrid. For sure it's going to be tough mentally, and they have to keep rowing in the Premier League to win every single game. This is the main aspect, I guess. How are they going to be harmed mentally to play against Newcastle, that we know that they are a good team?
5-0.
Yeah? Are you sure?
No, 5-0. Look, I mean, Man City, on balance of the 2 legs, should have beaten Real Madrid, right? They should have won those games. They created more chances. They were in control of so much of the game. And I think even today, as we speak, they'll be all scratching their heads, not understanding how they've got eliminated. And I think we're all probably in that position on the Thursday morning. Not to disparage Real Madrid here, what they did and all that, but Man City will feel they did their job. And they handled the game. No one got injured. They got Kyle Walker through X amount of minutes, blah, blah, blah. Their plan went off almost to a T, and suddenly they've lost. And I think everyone's going to have this raging ump. By the time we get to Sunday, late kickoff, everyone is going to be so annoyed. And they're going to want to take it out on somebody. And Newcastle made improvements recently, but mainly at home. And even then, they kind of struggled to create anything against Liverpool last week. So Newcastle won't score. Man City will score. Look for them scoring at least 2 in the opening 15 minutes. So I'd say definitely scoring in the opening 15, maybe scoring 2 in the opening 15, winning both halves and scoring at least 4. And I would still go for a -4 handicap for Man City, and they will win this game. I think they're going to muller Newcastle this weekend. And 27-1 to Newcastle as opposed to 1.2 for Man City as we speak now certainly reflects that. But go big or go home. If you're betting on this one, go to Goldtown.
To win 2-0 is 1.8 in case you want to back Man City to win 2-0, or you can go Asian handicap, as you mentioned, for instance. But we have to go Asian handicap -3 to have odds 3.5. You have to be really confident. Pep Guardiola, Pool is asking you if you would take Man City to win the title.
Yeah, 100%. Even before what happened in midweek. Looking at all the games that are left, I think there are some potential issues for Liverpool. The Tottenham game this weekend being the most obvious, and the Newcastle game last week was one as well. For Man City, the only games I can even possibly, and I mean possibly, see them dropping points in are Wolverhampton Wanderers and West Ham. Wolverhampton Wanderers' form has fallen off a cliff. West Ham, if they've made the Europa League final, will not care at all about any further Premier League games. And if they haven't by the time that game rolls around, they will want to wrap this season up. I don't see them going all guns blazing to beat Man City. So, and that's even a draw against them. Man City now out of the Champions League, nothing else really going on. I expect them to win the league and win every single game between now and the end.
They have to play also Aston Villa, no? It will be poetic to see
last day, yeah. I've got a lot of Liverpool. My friend who's a big Liverpool fan is continually saying to me, it goes down to the final day and Coutinho scores the winner or equaliser for Villa in the last minute and Liverpool win the league. But
poetic.
I'd love to see it in terms of drama, but I think they might have won it by then.
All right. Tom, tell me your ACCA, please.
Just a little triple this week. West Ham will win against Norwich because they're playing Norwich. Liverpool will beat Tottenham Hotspur. And Burnley, dicey, will take on Aston Villa and beat them too. That brings you around 9-1. Those don't seem like outlandish results to get 9-1.
Nice. I like your outfit, Tom. Really smart, casual, elegant.
Yes, I've got the football kit on underneath for later. So it's
I got my
business on top, party down below.
I got my pajamas, so it's fine. No worries. Thanks, Tom. See you next week. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Bye-bye.